Welcome to our Sunday gathering where we explore the pathways to awakening and enlightenment. And so while we're waiting for a few people to come on board, let's meditate to a couple of songs by Zazen, each about 3 or 4 minutes each. So I think you'll enjoy them. And again, let's just kind of see where this music takes us and let go as you focus on your third eye. Okay, here we go. Take a breath. Hmm. Good. Well, life is much more than you think it is. But your life is what you think it is. Hmm. That seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Life is more than what you think it is. But for you, it's just what you think it is. We're just in these bodies for a small amount of time. Compared to eternity, this is hardly even a blink in the eye. And yet, to those of us who are going through these lives, sometimes it can seem awfully long to us. Sometimes it seems awfully short. Life is not what you think it is, it's more. We get caught up in our thoughts. We think that what we perceive and what we put together is real. And then when we talk to someone else who has a different point of view, there's conflict because we're not in agreement. But that's only because it's what we think it is. And it's more than what we think it is. Sounds like I'm talking in a Zen koan today, huh? As I was meditating on today's experience with you, I saw some of you that are kind of discouraged. Others are questioning what they're doing and if it's the right thing to do. And I can pretty accurately say that's what's going on, because between you and me, everybody feels that way. This is not really a big insight. But I wanted to let you know that you are more than what you think you are, just as everyone else is more than what you think they are. We have these ideas about how things are supposed to be. One of the problems that really powerful people have is that it's kind of difficult for them to work with anyone else. They have to kind of be in charge. And the reason is because they can see the answer. They have it figured out. It's a straight path from this situation to where they want to go. And where the conflict comes in is there may be somebody else over here who sees another path that will get the same result. And we're so busy fighting over the same result that we never make any progress. In the Lakota Indians, when the tribe had a problem, a situation, let's say they were trying to make a decision on whether to follow the buffalo for a few more days or weeks, or to go south where it would be warmer for the winter. And there would be problems in who's doing what, or how are we going to do this? Who's right? Who's wrong? So as a medicine man, we would go out and we'd create what's called a medicine wheel out of stone. We'd make a big circle out of stone, divided up into 12 parts, snake, coyote, owl, whatever. And in the middle of that wheel, we place a buffalo skull. And everyone would sit around the outside of the wheel and they start beating their drums, looking at the buffalo skull. And the medicine man would come out, covered in a buffalo hide and a buffalo head, dancing around the skull, chanting, dancing. Everyone's beating their drums, chanting and dancing, looking at the buffalo skull, with the idea that where you're sitting at the edge of the circle, you can see maybe, let's say, you can see the left eye of the buffalo skull, but you cannot see the right eye. It's on the other side. So as the medicine man would dance around, you would, in your own mind's eye, try to see what the other people were seeing. You'd really try to visualize what the right eye looked like, even though you can't see it. Then you'd try to see what the face looks like from face on, or the back of the skull would look out. In other words, in your mind, you would try to see every angle. And the medicine man would dance around until there was consensus. He would know it. They would end the dance, and one of two things would happen. In this case, they'd either go back and start taking down the tents and getting ready to go, or they'd be getting the hunting party together to go hunt more buffalo. But the idea was, before any decision was made, you certainly saw what the other person was seeing. What's their point of view? And out of all point of view comes the way of the Dharma, the truth. Everybody has a point of view about God. Everybody has a point of view about enlightenment. Everyone. Christians, Hindus, Muslims, everyone has an idea about the divine. And they all seem to be fighting with each other. Who's right? Maybe everyone's right. But when everyone's right, is everyone else wrong? I mean, who's really right? It's like every religion, or every one of us is coming upon the story of the blind man and the elephant. And the blind man grabbed hold of a part of the elephant, and it's in their hands. They know what that elephant is. It's like a leaf, or it's like a snake, or it's like a wall, depending on what part of the elephant the blind man is touching and holding in his hands. But the enlightened comes along with sight. They see that everyone is right and everyone is wrong. They're wrong in the fact that they're only limited by their perception of what is. They're all right, but because they only see a piece of it, they're not correct. In their denial, by holding the elephant's ear, it's hard for them to figure out that the elephant could be like a wall to the person sitting next to or standing next to him, feeling the side of the elephant. There's a great bit of arguing and conflict. They're not taking time to step back and really contemplate the whole thing. In politics, people get it so right. Yeah. Back in the day, there was a a human potential group called EST. And they had a saying, and that saying was, how can everyone be right when everyone is wrong? I was never so wrong as when I was so right. Can you loosen up a little bit? Can you dare to let go of your sure hand of how it is supposed to be, and just for a minute, reach over and touch another part of what somebody else is feeling that's totally different than yours? 30 years or so ago, when I was studying with my teacher in New York, he had us all work together in little projects. They were silly little projects, you know. I worked on one called Craze Maze, where we had this little figure go through a maze and spelt out Craze Maze. I did the programming, and I did most of that as I think about it, but other guys helped me out with the programming. Yeah. So we had to work together. It was hard because these were powerful meditators. They were very powerful. They were very smart. And it was a difficult thing to work with anybody else because everybody had it figured out the way it should be. And they were always running into conflicts. Take a breath, step back, let go of your death grip on how you think things are supposed to be, and kind of, for a change, try to see what the other person is really trying to say. Instead of just dismissing their belief system outright, look a little different, a little deeper, and try to see, why are they saying that? What are their fears? What are their goals? Why do they have the goals that they have? What's driving them? Is it a fear of death? Is it a fear of losing all the things that they love and that they cherish? Is it a fear of damnation and eternal torture? Hmm. Can you understand what's motivating them? Can you develop a little insight, a little compassion for someone else's point of view, especially when it seems diametrically opposed to your own? The idea of the buffalo skull and that whole dance was to try to see what the other people were seeing and what was motivating them. There's a reason they felt so strongly about it. The reason could have been set up on superstition or fear, or, can have all kinds of reasons behind it. But until you know what that is, how are you going to deal with it directly or indirectly? What I'm suggesting is there's more than one path. Ramakrishna said that all paths lead to the top of the mountain. When you get to the top of the mountain, you're on your path. You're going up Hinduism, or maybe you're being a Christian and you're going up the Enlightenment path through Christianity. When you get to the top, he says, you realize that every path comes to the top. All the religions come to the same spot: the dissolution of the self, enlightenment. Look at the world today. People are so unwilling to look at someone else's point of view. They make fun of people who don't believe in the same God or the same religion they do. They don't trust people who have a different color skin or speak with an accent of some sort. People are always putting up walls to protect their egos and their own belief systems. But on the enlightened path, which is what we're talking about here, we're talking about unity, of oneness. The elephant to the blind man and to the awakened, the elephant to the awakened mind, the elephant is not just a leaf or not just a trunk. It's not just a side or a leg or a tail. It is all of them together and more. There's the tusk. There's, all kinds of things that maybe people haven't figured out yet. But people are willing to destroy others and even die themselves to protect their point of view. It's why in advanced practice, we talk about the dissolution of the self. The dissolution of the self is where you let go and surrender to spirit. It's not the forsaking of one for another, it's the inclusion of all. What are you fighting for? What are you so angry about? Is everybody in the world angry, or is it just you and your friends? Or are there other people that are delighting in what you are finding so frustrating and horrible? Why are they like they are? How are you going to deal with that part of you that is them? I'm asking a lot of questions today. But what I'm suggesting is oneness. I'm talking about tantric mysticism, the reconciliation of opposites, the taking of the lower into the higher and the higher into the lower. The recognition that there's more than one path into divine awakening, and that everyone finds their own path. I'm even suggesting that there's only one path, just one path for you. And that's not the path for anybody else. You can share a lot with them, We have lineages and we have sanghas of people who, follow the same teacher, whatever, but we all have a different view. What are your views? Now I've asked a lot of questions. I'm going to give you an answer. Hear, hear. Let him who has ears to hear what the Spirit has to say. He who has eyes to see what the Spirit is revealing. Open your heart. It's going to be okay. You're eternal. You're made of God. We're here to heal, not destroy. We're here to make peace, not wage war. We're here to bind the wounds, to heal the sick, to feed the poor, to take care of this beautiful little planet, to respect each other, to not only allow, but to welcome the differences that we all have. Welcoming the fact that when somebody says life is different than what we see it, as we take on their point of view, it makes us larger, not smaller. When you start seeing that a lot of people's ideas about enlightenment and awakening are so different from your own, it gives you an opportunity to grow. It may not be your path, probably isn't. That's their path. You can't walk their path, but you can at least see it, see what's motivating them, what's behind it. I find most religions are motivated by death, really. They're fascinated with death. Where am I going to reincarnate next? Am I going to go to heaven or hell? Will I meet my relatives on the other side? Will they know me? Religion becomes something to face the inevitable, which is death. Everybody dies. There'll be 7 billion deaths in the next 150 years. But there'll probably be about that many births. But everyone here will die. You'll die. I will die. Why worry about what death is about? It's all about how you live. How are you treating each other? Are you fighting? I was never so wrong as when I was so right. In the Bible, it says your self-righteousness is as filthy rags to the nostrils of God. And what we're saying here is our views on what's right and pure and ready and perfect compared to the Enlightenment, compared to infinity. Come on. We're in these little 6-windowed houses. We have our 5 senses and our mental capacity. We're also influenced by everyone around us from birth till death. And then at death, we walk away from all of it. But I find a lot of people are caught up in religions that say that things are going to be the same on the other side as they are here. That we'll see our relatives on the other side just like we knew them here. The ego hangs on so tight, doesn't it? But in advanced spirituality, we learn to dissolve the different selves. We surrender. In the silence, we stop our thoughts. Open your heart. And let go. Surrender. My teacher said, if there's anything that you should have as a way of feeling or being when you meditate, he says, there's always love, always that. But he says, the feeling that you should have is the feeling of letting go. Just let go. You're meditating, thoughts come up, let them go. Visions of archangels and ascended masters, let them go. A personal visitation from Sai Baba or Christ, let it go. Surrender. Stop your thought. There you go. The reason people have a problem when it comes to meditating and stopping their thought is that it starts to dissolve the self. So as you stop your thought, your ego comes up, starts to fighting against it. Your ego is always telling you, look at what's in front of you. You can see the left eye of that skull. Don't bother thinking about anything else. Just focus on that. No, 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 no. Let go. Surrender. Well, the good news is soon I'll be getting my second shot, my second vaccine. Hope all of you are doing the same because I'm looking forward to sitting with you again. I'm having an event in New Mexico along with Dharma and the Meditate Santa Fe group. Found a really cool place of power we're going to visit, a new one. It's going to be quite a thing. And if you're planning on coming and being there with us, it's going to be on the summer solstice. Be around June, I think it's June 17th through the 19th. It'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We may have something Monday morning, but that would be optional. So you might look into making your travel plans. I have a feeling that you should do it fast because people are pounding at the door to get out and do something. They've been sequestered for a year, over a year. So I think there's going to be a lot of people, you know. So if you're going to come to Santa Fe for the solstice, summer solstice, make your plans now. I'd love to see you there. Things are going to start opening up. And I can hardly wait to sit in the same room with you. It is different when I sit with you. I can answer questions. We can address issues. And it is more powerful by about a third. So I'm looking forward to sitting with you. Let's meditate. Oh gosh, I got a little long-winded. Let's go ahead and meditate to waves of light one more time. I like waves of light. This is kind of an interesting piece of music. As a music major, I listened to it with a great deal of interest. I was a music major in college for a while. It's amazing. This is amazing music. In this music, my teacher did the percussions. It's a little thing of tap, tap. You hear a little click in the background. And when I first heard the click, as a music major, it started bothering me because sometimes it wasn't on the beat. It might be halfway in the beat or halfway at the back of the beat. It was sometimes just not even close to the music. But then when I started looking at it, I saw that my teacher was picking out occult energies and clicking on them. So even though it didn't match the music all the time, it was pretty interesting for me anyway. So this is only about 3 minutes, but listen for that little click. See where it takes it. I love it myself. But this whole piece of music is always just taking you up and down, up and down. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. So here we go, Waves of Light from the Zazen album of Samadhi. Namaste.